guys, welcome to another episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for real producers, by real producers, and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers. Our guest here today is none other than Mr. James Patterson. How are you, James?
Doing great. How are you?
It's good to have you here, man. Excited
you.
to dive into your story a little bit, for
Yes.
sure. If you're familiar with James, you might have seen him featured in our December 2023 issue of Tampa Bay Real Producers. He was actually the featured agent in that issue, so check that out if you haven't seen it. I think Rob will probably do his magic, and it'll pop up on the screen here one of these minutes. But James, we'll start with just a little bit about your story for people who don't really know you that well. We were talking off camera. I guess you got licensed and grew up in Atlanta. Is that right?
I was born and raised actually in Tampa.
Okay.
So I am a Tampa native.
Okay.
And basically during high school went down to Anna Maria Island, stayed in Anna Maria Island, and then went up to college in North Carolina and ended up back in Atlanta where my parents had relocated. So
Gotcha. So
Stayed in the
Atlanta was
Southeast.
after school.
it was.
And that when you got licensed up there?
It was. Yep.
Okay.
Started off in commercial up there for a company called Ackerman and Company.
Okay.
They were the largest commercial real estate company up there. And then I started diving into some residential real estate in Buckhead.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Buckhead area. It's
yeah.
well known.
Yeah. So fooled around with that for a little bit. And then I actually joined Starbucks, where I was a relocation person handling real estate in the market for Starbucks for the Southeast. So I basically traveled around representing Starbucks and finding their sites for them.
That was after you got licensed as an agent?
Mm-hmm.
So you were doing it kind of part-time for a little while?
Yeah, so I actually switched back. But unfortunately, back in 07, 08, during the collapse, Starbucks let go about 90% of their development team.
Did you enjoy that role?
I did. It was great. Really.
How long were you with them?
I was with them about 5 years.
Okay.
And
Seems like you did a lot of traveling with that, huh?
I did. I was all over the Southeast. It was
Interesting.
great opportunity.
So you were an employee. It was a corporate role.
It was a corporate role.
And then that's a very different lifestyle in some ways, I would imagine, to what you've experienced in running your own real estate business, right?
Yeah, in residential for sure. Yeah.
Now, when would you say was kind of your first year in real estate full-time?
First time in real estate full time would definitely be coming back to Florida. After the layoff, unfortunately, back in 08 in Atlanta, I decided to move back closer to family. My parents had retired. And I wanted to be closer back to them. And I joined a brokerage called Engel and Volkers.
Sure, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
The German brand, right?
The German brand, yeah. So took off with them and really got into it and started really realizing that I wanted to work more one-on-one with an individual instead of the commercial side where it's just, spread out so much. Guess you could
So
say.
you had more experience on the commercial side, it sounds like, in those earlier years.
I did.
Was that just something about that attracted to you a little bit more than the residential, or what was the niche there for you?
I think it was more of the security coming out of college and having, an 8 to 5 kind of job.
Sure.
And a decent, regular paycheck.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. So then I jumped into the residential side, and I just really love helping people find what they're looking for.
Do you still do commercial as well?
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got into residential, and was that still with Engel and Volkers, or would you make the switch to Smith & Associates soon after?
I was with Engel and Volkers probably close to about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Smith & Associates, and now I've been with them a good amount of time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was there something you were looking for when you made that change, or was there
More of a local brand, and Smith & Associates now has been in the Tampa area for over 50 years.
No doubt. We've had a couple people from Smith here on the show, so there's a well-established brand for sure.
Yeah.
And you work right out of the South Tampa
Beta Bay office.
Yeah. Okay. So what's been your best year that you can think of in real estate since you've been licensed?
Back in 2022.
Okay. So just a few years ago.
Yeah, not too bad. I did about over 20 million,
Mm-hmm.
and it really took off from there. And I think it's helped building the connections with my clients, passing all my information about how pleased they were with working with me.
And what would you say have been some of the keys to your success in real estate? Has it been strictly organic from a lead standpoint and working with clients through referrals, or were there other specific strategies that you utilized that really helped you get traction? Like what's been some of the things that helped you get moving?
The connection with the individual, everyone's different, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then the connection, of course, builds on the fact that you really need to understand that client.
Mm-hmm.
Every client's different. You truly need to know what that client's looking for, the neighborhood, the schools, what they like, their lifestyle, if they want walkability. there's so many different factors with everyone you meet. You truly really need to take your time and communicate. Communication, I believe, is key.
Yeah.
In truly understanding what someone wants.
Did you ever work on a team when you were trying to like learn the business, or were you kind of figuring out from on your own from the get-go?
Basically on my own. You
Yeah.
know, kind of one-on-one guy.
I'm sure people were trying to recruit you for teams in all kinds of ways, right?
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
That just wasn't for you, huh?
Just was not for me. I mean, Smith and Associates is a great brokerage in the fact that they have such amazing training, one-on-one. Nikki Phillips, our VP of real estate, she's just amazing with the support they give, and whatever questions you need, they're always available. They always answer the phone when you call. So I'm very happy with them still today.
What are some of your favorite ways to meet clients and build up your pipeline?
Being active with whatever they enjoy doing. You know, I play tennis, meet them on the tennis courts. I'm also active in many, Moffitt I'm active in, Mary Lee's house I'm active in within the community here in Tampa. Organizations, meeting them across Tampa Bay in different type of organizations.
Okay, so it sounds like pretty much organic, right? Just building your network through living your life and doing things you enjoy doing, and
or the gym even. I mean, you can talk
you
to
come in
someone
contact with,
on the treadmill next to you working out at the gym.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked because it's great how there's so many different ways to do well in real estate, right? It's not like there's a cookie cutter approach. There are some people that we've interviewed who really invest heavily in lead gen type programs. Whether that's online or even other forms of direct mail campaigns or whatever, right? To try to just build a base. And then some people, I mean, we've had people on here who invest heavy in radio ads and TV spots and other things like that, right? Just to get that brand out there. And then there's also been many that we've interviewed who are top producers that have never done any of that, never wanted to do any of that. And they just built relationships, right? It's just been about connections, and that's kind of snowballed into referrals after referrals after referrals, and it sounds like that's kind of the path you've taken, right?
It is. That's definitely the path I've taken. I mean, I have people that have lived here. They moved to, let's say, Palm Springs, and they're connecting me with people here still within their business that they were working here with, connecting me with, and I've been helping, you know.
Are most of your clients local, or do you work with people from outside the area?
Outside the area a lot of the time, coming in. A lot of buyers. I work with more buyers, I would say, than listing, of course. But of course, I've had someone purchase last year, and unfortunately, they're having to move soon to California. So I'm going to be listing their property. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
When people are coming in or looking to get into this area, do they just find you online, or is there some sort of a connection that?
There's some type of connection could be with Smith and Associates. We're part of a network called Leading Real Estate Companies of the World.
Yep.
And we're part of that organization. I just got back from a trip from New Zealand, and I actually met with one of our affiliates over there in New Zealand, which was great to learn the difference in the real estate. Auctions in New Zealand are actually a common thing. It's so interesting. You know, auctions here, unless your house is foreclosing.
Yeah.
Over there, it's very common. Their home could be on the market just 2 or 3 weeks, and then it goes to auction.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. Yeah. So it's a totally
Did you
different.
participate in any auctions out there?
I did not, but I watched it, but it was very interesting how real estate is different over there.
Yeah. Have you ever done auctions here?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's, so are you generally an open house guy, or do you go down that road, or not really?
Not really.
No,
not
your
really.
thing, huh?
Not my thing. I mean, I will do open house, of course, as a customer requests it, but you get a lot of the neighbors, I feel like, looky-loos.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And is South Tampa kind of a niche for you, would you say, or are you serving all the Tampa Bay area for the
all
most
of Tampa Bay area? I'll go down as far as downtown Sarasota and probably go up as far as Wesley Chapel, Tarpon Springs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So James, if somebody was, I know that you're not like a team. You're not building a team, right? You're working solo agent production. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if you had some advice for somebody who really wanted to follow your model, where they weren't really excited about joining a team, they weren't necessarily thinking about building a team, but they just wanted to be an agent, right? And they liked their clients, they liked the kind of the transaction process, and they like real estate, obviously. What are some thoughts you would have about how maybe even somebody who's newer in the business, how they can succeed being solo? Like, because I think one of the common things that comes up a lot is when we ask for people's advice, a lot of times we hear, join a team, find a mentor, shadow them for a while. And I understand the value in that, right? But it doesn't sound like that's what you did. That wasn't your path necessarily. So do you have any thoughts on like what advice you might give somebody who wants to kind of...
I see 2 different ways. You need to understand real estate and how real estate works and have the real estate knowledge to be able to provide to a customer. At the same time, to get the customer, if you're not on a team, you need to have the niche or the group that you need to be part of to get the customer to purchase the real estate. So there's two aspects the way I look at it. You need to be part of an organization, charity events, where you can meet your circle, your group of friends that you believe that you can help serve in real estate, or their friends that you can help serve in real estate. That's one way to look at it. But then at the same time, you need to have the knowledge on the real estate side. So you're going to have to look at it both ways. If you're not going to be in a team to mentor, train you, then you need to get that training from either your brokerage or another third party that's going to help you understand the real estate aspect of it, not just connecting with individuals. So I can see it both ways.
What are some of your favorite ways to kind of gain that knowledge? What are some resources that you have either used or feel like are important for people to be aware of?
You know, actually, a lot of realtors, I do not believe, take advantage of our local real estate board here. You know, we have to pay them fees every year to be a member, and they offer a lot of free classes. Even right now, the NAR is offering accredited buyer representation class, ABR, I believe, and that's free. So there's a lot of free things out there for any realtor to take advantage of and get the knowledge they need or that they want to specialize in.
That makes sense. Are you still involved at all with the classes and stuff over there with NAR?
I am, and I'm actually on the grievance committee here at our local board.
Oh, really?
So that keeps me kind of busy too.
Okay, I'm sure you get. Do you get loaded up with grievances that you're dealing with? That sounds like an interesting role. Huh?
I do, but unfortunately, I cannot talk about those.
What's the most common grievance, James? That's coming to the word.
It's social media, and I can say that we get a lot of social media, unfortunately, that people do not follow.
Just out of like not doing it the way it needs to be done.
Correct.
I gotcha.
So
breaking regulation, that kind of thing.
I can just say, yeah, social media is a big thing. I think across the board right now, with any business, it's not just real estate that people, kind of do not follow social media. Maybe that makes sense. It should be.
What are some of your favorite organizations or causes that you're a part of?
Moffitt.
Okay.
Mary Lee's House. Alzheimer's Association. Unfortunately, my dad passed away due to that terrible disease. So I'm all kind of diverse in helping.
Have you ever read the book Life Force from Tony Robbins?
I have.
You read the book? So there's a cool section in that book about Alzheimer's. Do you remember that part? Some of the like modern technology that seems like they've been really doing a lot of work on to find breakthroughs in that space. Because as you just said, I mean, it's really sad to see somebody, especially a family member, have to go through that. And I found that book pretty fascinating to see some of the, modern technology that they're seem pretty bullish about in some of the different facets there. Yeah. Hopefully it pans out, who knows?
It does. It's a terrible disease.
A lot of it's above my pay grade, but it sounds pretty good when I was reading it.
Yeah. Science is getting there. There's new medications coming out and everything else to hopefully help that terrible disease.
Yeah, no doubt. And so the causes you just laid out, I know you obviously have a personal connection with the one there with your father. Were there any other specific reasons why those causes were important to you?
Moffitt Cancer. I've had some precancerous cells where I've had to see a doctor there, a physician there. But not only that, I think they're a great organization out there. Their treatment and everything they do, and it's in Tampa Bay, of course. So
yeah, no doubt, local.
Yeah, they're local.
So when you're involved with that, what does that generally look like for you? Is it an event once a year?
Oh, there's
more
events
than
for
that?
them. There's donations, any type of, getting emails that I can help out. Not just walks. I mean, of course, they have their walks, and they're a great event. Moffitt's for Martinis, Martinis for Moffitt.
I haven't heard of that one. I like the theme, though.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's coming up, I believe, this summer at the Hard Rock.
Really? So, okay. You usually go to that? Is it a big event?
It's a big event, yeah.
Cool. How many people do they normally bring in?
Close to, I think, like 250 to 500, I believe.
Oh, wow. And so they raise money for Moffitt as well?
Yeah, they raise money for Moffitt, yeah.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that obviously is a pretty big local brand. So everyone, I think, knows of Moffitt Cancer Center and how they have helped people around this area. So that makes sense. And it sounds like, again, in just how you've ran your business, a lot of these different causes and stuff that you're a part of have always been directly tied to your network, right? And the success that you've been able to have from that perspective.
That is correct. Yeah.
What's the most number of deals you've done in a year?
I would probably say 35 to 40 in that range. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really healthy if it's 100% organic.
Correct.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with 5 deals either if they're large numbers.
True. That makes a lot of sense too. Have you done more luxury? recently, would you say, or is that?
I've done more luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working with a buyer this past weekend. His budget was about 2.5 to 6, and I have a gentleman coming in on the 25th, that Monday, and his budget's up to 7.
Okay.
So I think
you would prefer to work
I would
less deals per year, but work in the luxury space?
Well, I would prefer to work with a client that, is ready to purchase. But at the same time, I'm here to help anyone find out and learn more about Tampa Bay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course. That makes sense. We've had a couple people on here who do specialize in luxury and all over the area. I always think it's fascinating to hear, like, from your perspective, since I'm assuming you've worked with both, right? Mm-hmm. The luxury buyer and seller versus your general buyer and seller of real estate. Are there some pretty distinct differences between the situations, other than the price points of the homes, like just in how you work with the clients, what expectations that you have to fulfill?
Well, correct. I think the more luxury brand buyer is going to have more knowledge in real estate and the fact that they've purchased property typically before.
Right. It's not usually a first-time home buyer.
It's not going to be your first-time home buyer. So a lot of the first-time home buyer is different type of questions that you're not going to receive with a luxury buyer, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's just a different, they might be looking at something very more particular, like the marble in the bathroom or the type of flooring or the window or the finishes.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important, James, to have like a niche that you try to become a master of and really get good at, or in real estate, in your opinion, is it just about, I'll serve whoever I need to serve? It doesn't really matter as much to me.
I just think the market is changing so much and so fast right now due to technology.
Yeah.
It's so hard, I believe, just to narrow down that one particular $5 million buyer, because that $5 million buyer still may want to buy a $500,000 property for their child or their nephew or whoever, because you really need to understand, in my opinion, you need to understand all types of the market.
What type of changes do you project with the technology that you're referring to?
It's going to be much more consumer based. I think the consumer is basically doing a lot of the things that realtors used to do.
It's more information available now, right?
It's a lot more information at the touch of they're grabbing their iPhone and seeing everything at, right at the touch of their hand, compared to that they weren't used to do that. There's a lot of third-party websites out there, Zillow with their Zillow estimates of telling people what their home's worth.
Yeah. Whether it's accurate or not, at least they have a number in their head.
I mean, that's just taking the averages from the neighborhood, but that's exactly right. Just because the waterfront home and the home across the street that's not on the water, that doesn't mean that the price is correct.
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, realtors still need to be around. There's a lot of changes, with lawsuits right now, unfortunately, in the industry.
Yeah.
But I think, in my opinion, realtors need to be around to still educate, if they have the knowledge, to tell the individual what they should do or their opinion.
Sure.
Or to answer any questions that they may have. A computer or an iPhone can't do all that.
No, of course not. It's always going to be a personal business, right? And I think it's always going to be true that people tend to do business with people that they like.
That is the key. Who they like, who they want to do business with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or who they believe has the education to give them the best results possible.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. What are some things, James, that get you excited about the future when you think about your business the rest of this year? We're early in 2024 right now. I don't know if you have any specific goals for this year or beyond. What are some things where does your vision take you?
I think all this development in Tampa Bay for me is getting me excited, because every time I turn on the news, hop on the internet, there's a new building going up. There's a new restaurant opening.
Yeah.
Just the other day, now we have the new brunch, lunch, dinner cruise craft.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah, we have a new experience for dining on the river.
That's cool.
Craft. So it seems like every day, week, we're getting something new, and I think that's what I'm excited about, is how Tampa is growing. Me being born here, growing up in Seminole Heights, it's really changed.
You've seen a lot of changes, I can imagine.
I've seen a lot of change, yeah. Especially, now Water Street being completed, and how Water Street now is expanding further. It's just getting, in my opinion, better day by day.
Yeah, no, is there a specific area, you mentioned Seminole Heights, that you feel like has really changed a lot, or is really, that you're even more excited about because of what's coming?
Oh, yeah, Seminole Heights has changed. I grew up on the Hillsborough River as a kid.
Yeah.
And that whole neighborhood has changed back in there.
For sure.
For renovating the older homes to building new homes.
Yeah.
Areas I think that is just going to really continue to take off. I think there's going to be further development along Bayshore Boulevard with higher luxury condos. And I think that will continue to probably more in Water Street too, or even Channel Side. They're still building down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live up in 54 in Land O'Lakes. if you're familiar with that area, like I live in a community called Ballantrae up there. And even since we bought in 2016 now. It's crazy how much things have changed in the last like 7 years in that area. That whole, so much commercial development, number one, but there's been a lot of population growth. We used to be able to just drive around. You'd see cows. It would be no traffic at all. Now it's like you're jammed up at every stop sign, you know?
My mom grew up in Land O'Lakes out there, and it was all cows and cows and cows.
That's it, man. It was all, and I kind of liked that, to be honest, when we were up there. So it's very different. Now the people have found us, you know?
Well, the farmers did well, though, selling all that property.
They did. That Ed Bexley, I think his name was. He's made a killing selling off his land up there. God bless him. No doubt about it. So a couple things, James, for people, again, who don't know you as well on the personal side, just to get some more information out there. You mentioned that you were just traveling to New Zealand. Was that for work or just fun trip?
It was fun, but it was also for work. I squeezed in a visit in New Zealand to our affiliate out there, Barfoot and Thompson.
Cool.
They are part of the leading real estate companies of the world. So I was able to go by their office and discuss real estate with them while I was in Auckland. But I was able to tour all of New Zealand at the same time. So
nice. Have you ever been there before?
I have not. It's just a long flight.
Yeah, it is a long flight. What I've never been there. It's on my list. That in Australia, I'd love to check out. But beautiful country,
beautiful coastlines, beautiful wildlife. It's quite different than Australia being so close with all their deadly insects and reptiles. And New Zealand does not have any of that. They do not even have snakes.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
I'm learning a few things in this podcast, so that's good. That's very good. I always like to learn something new, right? So you were there for a while, weren't you?
I was there about a month.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Just hanging out, having fun, huh?
Just hanging out, having fun, traveling, and but at the same time, you still have to squeeze in real estate at some point and keep your mind sharp.
Did you have a travel companion, or were you?
I did. I was celebrating my mom's 75th birthday. So
oh, that's sweet.
I was a good son.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I took my mom to Hawaii a couple of years back when she turned 80, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
And she raves about it to this day. So yeah. That's something that she's
this
always
was
going to
my
remember.
mom's best trip, she said.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you have a good relationship with mom, huh?
I do. Yeah, she's down in Anna Maria Island, and she's still there, which is perfect distance, an hour from mom. And
do you have other family around here?
I have my two half brothers that live in Tampa. I have one on Davis Island and one out in Plant City.
Nice. Are they in real estate too?
No. My half brother on Davis Island is the president of Outback Steakhouse.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and my other brother in Plant City is a mechanic. And then my blood brother.
So free steaks on you anytime you have to go to Outback, or what?
Yeah, I wish.
Brother doesn't hook it up, huh?
No
bloomin' onion, huh?
No bloomin' onion, unfortunately. And and my brother's over on Jupiter, and he's a doctor over there. So,
got a pretty established family there, James.
Yeah,
your mom did a good job raising you guys, huh?
Yes.
How about that? That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any? What's the right word? Immediate family, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Do you have any children of your own, or are you married? Relationship status? Any of that fun stuff?
I am single.
Single guy.
Single. I do have a dog.
Okay.
George, my 2.5-year-old Boston Terrier. And
that's your kid,
and
huh?
he is a wild one. Sometimes he has to go see grandma down at the beach so I can get a break.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're single, ready to mingle, or you're content being a single dude?
I am content at the moment being single.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
Just every time you turn around doing something. So, yeah.
Do you get to travel a lot?
I try to travel a lot. I really enjoy traveling. I just feel like no matter where I go, I'm always learning something and seeing how the world is.
Yeah.
So,
do you have a favorite place to go?
It's got to been all over the place. I really like Dubai. I really liked.
Man, you got some exotic trips. I like that.
Belgium was a beautiful. But I've been all over Europe. So every place is great. They're just different in their own way.
Yeah, for sure.
Costa Rica is probably my favorite, and it's very budget friendly.
Yeah, I've been to Costa Rica twice actually.
Yeah,
that's one I can say I've been to.
It's nice down there.
It was beautiful. Yeah. What I liked about it too, if I remember, was we stayed on a beach resort. And we could take like a 20-minute bus ride, and you're in like a completely different weather pattern. It's
different,
you got the mountain ranges.
Yeah.
I think within 20 minutes you can go from beach to the rainforest to even like the mountaintops has snow and stuff. So that was kind of a neat thing. I remember I was going through this rainforest, and it felt like I was in like the Garden of Eden or something. It was just so peaceful, and we were at an outside hot springs. And there had like 3 different pools where you can go from the hottest spring down to the coolest spring, and it was just like plants everywhere. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's a special place. I
Yeah,
went
it is.
whitewater rafting out there. It was gorgeous.
What else do you like to do for fun? What keeps you busy?
Tennis. Love the gym.
Looking good, man. Nice and fit.
Trying.
Yeah.
Trying. Just turned 45.
Staying healthy there in your mid-40s?
Yeah, just turned mid 45. I'm here, and just trying to live in the dream.
There you go, my man.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
So here's a couple rapid-fire questions for you, all right, as we put a bow on your episode. So number one, do you have a favorite book or author or even a seminar that has made a big impact on you personally or professionally?
Goodness, there's so many books. Even the author out there, James Patterson.
There is yes. I thought you were might mention his name. So I thought that might have been you actually on the side.
Well,
as a little side hustle.
He does have some really good books. I don't have a favorite off the top of my mind, but James Patterson has some good books.
Yeah, would you consider him one of your favorite authors?
Yeah, and Stephen King. Love some Stephen King.
So you're a fiction guy. Mm-hmm. You like to read that. Let your imagination fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Open up the senses. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like a seminar or anything you've gone to that you really loved? Conference or something like that?
Yep. Went to the symposium 2 years ago over in Portugal.
Is that real estate?
Yep.
Okay.
It was an international global symposium. Met realtors from around the world.
So it wasn't a Smith and Associates thing. It was
not. It was actually part
all brokerages are invited.
It was actually part of Leading RE.
Oh,
it was
cool.
their global symposium. It was in Portugal. It was in a city called Cascais, just south of.
Is there any country you haven't been to? You just casually name drop all these different things during the course of the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. My mind is like trying to pull these cities because I have traveled.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the awesome things to do in life is be able to see the world.
But that was a great conference because I got to connect with so many people around the world, hearing the stories about real estate in Japan or China or Australia or wherever. I mean,
that's neat.
It's neat.
It was just agents, brokers.
It's agents, brokers, but it's so nice to be able to connect with these people because in Tampa we do have a lot of people coming from around the world here.
Sure.
And not only that, we have people here that want to buy properties from around the world.
Yeah.
So making that connection and connecting people really helps.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And these are mostly like retail, residential agents.
Residential agents, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it. It's called the Global Symposium?
Symposium, yeah.
Interesting.
It was in Portugal. Yeah.
Did other people go with you from Tampa Bay?
It did. The owner of my company, Bob, went, and 3 or 4 other agents in my office went, yeah. But I made a vacation out of it, though, and tied it to work.
Why not?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie or TV show?
God, all these questions. It's a good one. Devil Wears Prada, of course, is a good one. I just love Meryl Streep. Her acting.
She's a classic.
Yeah,
What was the Anne Hathaway was the girl in that, a woman in that too, right?
Yeah, Anne Hathaway.
I'm a fan of hers
too,
as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was laughing over there. And last one I got for you. Well, 2 ones, I guess. Well, I guess 3, maybe 4. Do you have a favorite food?
Favorite food, mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Wow.
cheese.
I was not expecting that.
Mac and cheese.
This is like such a sophisticated man who's traveling all over the world. I thought he was going to say like some sort of...
Or even the lobster mac and cheese. Ocean Prime here is some really good mac and cheese.
How about that? I was not expecting mac and cheese. It's full of surprises, man. James is full of surprises. No doubt about it.
Hey, now,
something tells me you're not pulling out Kraft mac and cheese at the house.
No, but hey, the carrot cake, though, at J. Alexander's is really, really good, too.
You recommend that? All right. Little shout out to the carrot cake.
Yeah,
we'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
We like food here, so
yes.
That works. So, James, one of the questions that I think gets people to think is what I call the legacy question. So the concept is at some point, you'll be on that rocking chair maybe and looking back to your career and your life, of course, and thinking about the things that you are most proud of or even just the things that you want to be most remembered for. And so the question ultimately is, what do you think matters most to you about your legacy and what you'd want to be most remembered for?
Going beyond standard request, really diving deep and really helping people, caring about people, having a heart. I think that's what I really want to be remembered for is, not just your average. Hopefully, the smile. I'm always complimented on my smile. So hopefully when I'm dead and gone, people can remember the smile and,
I can see that. You do have a good smile.
Thank you. And helping, just helping people, being charismatic and kind. And, it's what you put out there comes back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. I think ultimately how we treat others and people is really what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
I think in real estate, it's the same concept.
Just be kind.
Be kind.
And smile.
That's good. That's a good way to end it. Be kind and smile.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to reach out to you, James, again, it's interesting, I think, talking with you, not just because of your jet set lifestyle, of course, but the concept of being a solo agent and living a great lifestyle, right? Which I think you're doing. And during the course of this conversation, it's definitely what came out, at least in my perspective, from talking with you. And I think agents could learn a lot about, can try to replicate that, right? And want to hopefully create their own that is a similar, without having to go out and join a team or maybe become the 100+ recruiting team or focusing on that side of the business. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, some people do really, really well with it and love it. But you've taken another path and it's obviously worked well for you. And it seems like you have a really cool, balanced lifestyle with successful business and great relationships and seeing the world and just enjoying life, right? Have a great dog, all those things. So if someone wanted to reach out to you just to kind of pick your brain on how you've kind of gone about it and follow up with you on anything, what's the best way for them to do it?
So of course, James Patterson, Smith & Associates Real Estate. My website is tampabayestates.com. My email is jpatterson@smithandassociates.com. And my phone number is 941-730-9296. Thank you.
Awesome. Look at all that stuff. Great. He was prepared for that. You could tell. He had it all ready to go. And we can throw that up too on the description when we post all this for you. But we're going to end the episode, James, the way we always do, which is with a challenge to the audience. So if you're watching, whether it's live on Facebook or any of our other YouTube channel, if you don't subscribe already, by the way, to the podcast, just click that little button that says subscribe. So that way you're notified every time a new episode drops, which is every Friday. Make sure that you do that. But we have, of course, more episodes to come here with Tampa Bay Real Producers. But find one action step that you can take from this conversation here today with James that's going to make the time that you invested in watching this worth it. Tony Robbins preaches that a lot about just doing one thing is going to move you forward. And it's just one step at a time, right? So maybe it's just talking to somebody like James or figuring out your path. Maybe it's joining or finding a local organization that you can get passionate about like James has with the ones that he's mentioned. Maybe it's looking more into some of the classes that the Realtor Association or Pro or whatever has available, right? That we also talked about. Maybe you got to pick up a James Patterson book. I mean, I don't know what it might be, but is one thing, right? Maybe you have to fly to Portugal or check out New Zealand, whatever it is. But take an action step that's going to enhance your professional and your personal careers. And if you do that, then this time would be worth it to be able to move forward. So we'll see you on the next episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. You guys stay classy. We'll see you then.